I cooked a full holiday meal while my in-laws watched TV. They complained the turkey was dry, the pie too sweet, and the gifts too cheap. My husband said, "That's just how they are." So, I made a new tradition, and this one didn't include them. I've been married to Matt for 13 years. We live just outside of Madison, Wisconsin in a small, older house we've been slowly fixing up room by room. No kids. Just us. I freelance from home doing graphic design. Logos, web assets, small business branding mostly. It pays the bills, and I like the flexibility. Matt works in insurance. He's a good provider, stable, quiet. The kind of guy who always fills your gas tank without telling you. Who folds laundry but won't talk about feelings. Who apologizes with silence. He's also a son first, husband second. And I didn't see that clearly until too many years had passed. His parents, Ron and Joyce, are both retired now. They live in Janesville, a short drive away. They're in their early 70s. Typical old-school types, Midwestern polite in public, but cold behind closed doors. I don't think Joyce has ever actually thanked me for anything in the time I've known her. I used to make excuses for them. Maybe they're just old. Maybe they don't know better. But the truth is they just don't care.
Not about me.
Every year, I hosted Christmas. Not because I wanted to, but because no one else would. I'd cook everything. Turkey, stuffing, green bean casserole, mashed potatoes, sweet potatoes, gravy from scratch.
Pies.
Cookies. Hot cider. I decorated the house top to bottom. Changed out the hand towels. Even got little holiday dog treats for their miserable Shih Tzu, Tinker. And every year I got the same treatment. They'd walk in, barely say hello, hand me their coats like I worked at a hotel, then plop down on the couch and turn on the TV. Every single time. Ron with his boots up on my coffee table. Joyce flipping through People magazine like she was killing time in a waiting room. I used to ask, would anyone like to help with? No thanks, we'll stay out of your way. It's not just that they didn't help. It's how they treated me like a background character in their family's movie. Like I was the hired help. 2 years ago, I spent 3 days prepping everything for Christmas dinner. I wanted to impress them. I even printed cute little menus for each play setting. Turkey with herbed butter, honey roasted carrots, cranberry compote with orange zest. Joyce looked at the menu and said, "Bit much, don't you think?" Ron didn't even look up. Just muttered, "Hope the turkey isn't dry this year." I said, "It's not dry. I brined it overnight." He grunted. "Hope you didn't use that apple juice crap again. Made it sweet last year." That was the year Matt's brother, Dylan, and his wife, Hannah, brought their kids, 2 boys under 7. They tore through the living room like it was a Chuck E. Cheese. I had spent hours wrapping each of their gifts with personalized tags. The older one opened his, looked inside, and said, "This is it." Hannah laughed. "He's just tired." He didn't mean it. But I saw her smirk, like my gift wasn't good enough. That night, I did all the dishes while they sat around drinking wine and watching Die Hard. No one offered to help. No one said thank you. I finally broke and told Matt, "Next year, I'm not doing this." He looked at me like I was insane. "It's just one day." I stared at him. One day? I spent 3 days prepping. I spent $400 on food and gifts. I haven't sat down since 8 a.m. And then he said it. The same thing he always says. "That's just how they are." That sentence hit me like a gut punch. That's just how they are. So that's it? They get to treat me like garbage because it's just how they are? And what am I? Just someone who takes it every year? I didn't sleep that night. I lay there staring at the ceiling while Matt snored beside me. And in the silence, I started thinking about how many years I've been doing this. How many holidays I've wasted trying to impress people who never cared. I thought about how tired I was. Not just physically, but emotionally. Tired of pretending we're a happy family. Tired of being invisible in my own home. Tired of my husband choosing silence over support. So I made a decision. Next Christmas would be different. I wasn't going to host. I wasn't going to cook. I wasn't even going to be there. And I wasn't going to tell them until it was too late to stop me. I made a new tradition, one where I came first. And if they didn't like it,
Good.
after that Christmas, I started pulling back. It wasn't dramatic. I didn't throw dishes or scream at anyone. I just stopped trying. Valentine's Day rolled around, and I didn't bother decorating. Easter came, and I bought store-bought cookies. I didn't send out invitations or ask what everyone was doing. And no one noticed. Or maybe they noticed, but no one said anything. Matt didn't ask me if I was okay. He didn't check in. He just kept doing what he always did, going to work, zoning out to sports, and keeping the peace with his family at all costs. In July, we were at Ron and Joyce's place for a cookout. I brought a pasta salad and a fruit tray. Nothing fancy. I wasn't going to give them the satisfaction. Joyce opened the fruit tray and said, "Oh, this is from Woodman's." I said, "Yep." She laughed a little. "Well, I guess not everyone has time to make things homemade." I stared at her and smiled. Not the warm kind. The kind you give when you're done playing nice. Matt didn't say a word. On the way home I said, "You heard what she said, right?" He kept his eyes on the road. "She was joking." I snapped. "Matt, they're never joking. They're mean. They're petty. And you let them walk all over me." He sighed like I was a burden. "Why are you always looking for something to be mad about?" I stared out the window. I didn't answer. But in that moment, something shifted. I realized Matt wasn't clueless. He was comfortable. Comfortable letting me take the hits, so he didn't have to deal with conflict. He chose silence because it cost him nothing. But it was costing me everything. That fall, I started planning. Quietly.
Carefully.
I booked a cabin up north for Christmas week. Lake Namakogon. Peaceful, snowy, right on the water.
Just me.
I told no one. Not Matt. Not my in-laws. I saved up slowly, used cash, left no emails or receipts. I wasn't just pulling away, I was disappearing for the holidays. In October, I told Matt I wasn't hosting this year. He blinked. "What do you mean?" "I'm not doing Christmas. Not this year. But we always do it here." "Not anymore." He got frustrated. "So, what? We just cancel Christmas because you're mad?"
I'm not mad, I said.
"I'm done. With them. With all of it." He sulked for 2 days. Then one night he came to bed and said, "They've been talking about Christmas. They think it'll be nice to have it here again. They really liked the dinner last year." I laughed out loud. "You're kidding, right?" "No, I think they're trying to make an effort." "Matt, they insulted the food, the gifts, and me. That's their version of making an effort?" He got quiet. Then he said, "Look, just keep the peace, okay? It's a few hours." That line again.
Keep the peace.
His peace always came at my expense. So I nodded. "Sure, Matt. I'll keep the peace." But in my head, the plan was already locked in. I started clearing my client calendar for December. Quietly bought travel-sized toiletries. Made a list of books I'd read by the fire. I wasn't just skipping Christmas. I was reclaiming it. In early December, Joyce texted me. "Just checking in about the menu. No sweet potatoes this year. Ron said they upset his stomach. Also, can you not use cinnamon in the apple pie? Too strong." That was my line in the sand. I didn't even reply. I screenshotted the message and saved it in a folder I called Evidence of Why I'm Leaving. On December 10th, I packed a suitcase and stored it in my car trunk. On December 17th, I left a note in my top desk drawer in case anyone panicked. And on the morning of December 23rd, while Matt was still asleep, I left. I didn't slam doors. I didn't yell. I just got in my car and drove north. No phone calls.
No texts. No apologies.
Just snow-covered trees, frozen lakes, and silence. I spent Christmas alone in that cabin, and I've never felt more at peace. No screaming kids. No cold glares from Joyce. No muttered insults from Ron. No silence from Matt. Just me, a stack of books, a crackling fire, and the sound of wind moving through pine trees. I turned off my phone the moment I arrived. For 3 days, I didn't check it once. I hiked, cooked simple meals, drank wine, and slept better than I had in years. On the 26th, I finally turned my phone back on. It blew up. Missed calls from Matt. Voicemails from Joyce. A few texts from Dylan asking, "WTF is going on?" And one from Matt that just said, "I hope you're happy. You humiliated me." That one stopped me cold. Humiliated? Like this was some game I played to get attention? I didn't reply. I stayed 2 more days, then drove home. When I walked through the door, Matt was sitting on the couch with his arms crossed, TV muted. "What the hell was that?" he asked. I dropped my bag. That was me finally choosing myself. He didn't say anything for a long time. Then he stood up and said, "You embarrassed me in front of my family. You made me look weak." That word again, weak. Like his image was more important than how I felt. Like it was my job to protect his reputation while I burned out behind the scenes. I told him, "If they think less of you because your wife stopped letting them abuse her, maybe the problem isn't me." He left that night. Went to stay with Dylan. We didn't talk for 2 weeks. I started noticing little things after that. The mail came later. A few bills I didn't recognize. One from a jewelry store in Janesville. When I finally asked him about it, he admitted something I wasn't prepared for. "You really want to know?" he said. "Hannah's been texting me." I blinked. "Since when?" He shrugged. "Over a year."
Why?
He looked me dead in the eye. "Because she actually listens." That hit like a freight train. His brother's wife. And she listens? I pushed. Turns out they'd been talking for a while. Texting late at night.
Just venting, he said.
But when I asked if anything physical happened, he didn't deny it.
"I don't know," he said.
Maybe we crossed a line. So there it was. While I was bending over backward to earn his family's approval, he was building something with his brother's wife behind my back. I felt like a fool. I felt used. And I felt something shift inside me. This wasn't just about holiday dinners anymore. This was about everything. 13 years of compromise, silence, and putting myself last for people who never gave a damn. So I stopped crying. I stopped asking why. And I started planning again. But this time, I wasn't disappearing quietly. This time, I wanted them to feel it. The next morning, I called a divorce lawyer. A real shark. She came recommended by a woman in town who'd gone through hell with her ex and came out the other side with everything. I gave her the short version. 13 years of marriage, no kids, separate bank accounts, but a shared mortgage, and a husband who had been emotionally entangled with his brother's wife, possibly more. She said, "We can work with that." I didn't tell Matt. I didn't tell anyone. I played it calm. Quiet. I let him come back home after a week at Dylan's. I let him think I was working through things. He wanted to avoid a scandal. I pretended I wanted to avoid one too. I made dinners again. Folded his laundry. Even sat next to him during Sunday football, sipping tea like I wasn't burning inside. Every smile I gave him was a countdown. Then I got to work. First, I pulled our joint mortgage records and highlighted every payment I'd made from my design income. I had the receipts. I'd been the one paying utilities too, while he funneled cash to his personal savings. Then I printed out screenshots, text messages between him and Hannah. There weren't many, but there were enough. A few late-night ones where she said, "I can't stop thinking about you," and one that simply said, "I wish it was me you came home to." I sent the screenshots, just the screenshots, with no context to Dylan. No name, no subject, just a file called, "You Should Know." It took 48 hours for everything to unravel. Matt came home from work on a Thursday to find half his closet cleared. I was sitting at the kitchen table with a printed copy of the divorce filing. He said, "What is this?" I slid the papers across the table. "This is me choosing myself again." He flipped through the pages, then looked up, panicked. "You're really doing this?"
Yep.
"And if you're smart, you'll sign quickly and quietly. Because if you don't, the screenshots go to your parents next. And trust me, they care a lot more about family appearances than you think." He looked like I punched him. "You wouldn't. Try me." He didn't sign right away. He tried to guilt me. Said I was throwing away a good man. Claimed I was overreacting. Said it wasn't even a real affair. But I didn't budge. I filed anyway. Wisconsin is a no-fault divorce state. He couldn't stop it. And I had the financial records to prove he owed me a hell of a lot more than he ever gave. The lawyer worked fast. Within a month, I had the house, the car, and enough monthly support to keep me more than afloat. As for his family, that was the best part. Dylan stopped speaking to him. He and Hannah took a break that never ended. Last I heard, she moved in with her sister in Green Bay. Ron and Joyce? Oh, they were furious. Not at me, at him. Once the divorce got around their social circle, it was embarrassing. No more picture-perfect family dinners. No more grandkids at Christmas. No more pretending everything was fine. They blamed Matt. He finally got to feel what I'd felt for over a decade, invisible and alone. I started a new tradition that next Christmas. I invited 3 friends over. Other women I knew who were divorced or child-free, or just plain tired of forced family gatherings. We cooked together. We laughed. We toasted to peace and quiet. And when I sat down to eat, I looked around my quiet, calm, loving little home and thought, this is mine. All of it. No one insulted my food. No one complained about gifts. No one treated me like a servant. Because I'd burned down the old tradition and built something better.